43.
Hello, everybody. It's Coach Les and Mr. Yarwood. We are here for session number 43 of Yma Mat Chat on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. And tonight we are going to be discussing why time management matters, some core time management skills, tools to help with time management, and time management in daily life. We want you to look at time management as the ability to use your time effectively and efficiently to accomplish goals, meet deadlines, and maintain balance in your life. It's not just about being busy. It's about being productive and intentional with your time. Welcome, Mr. Yarwood. The microphone is yours.
Yes, sir. So I think the biggest number one excuse people have for not having enough time, you know what it is? What would be your guess? They're busy, right? What does that even mean? We're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. We all got stuff, right? To me, it's an excuse to not do the things you know you're supposed to be doing, or things you should be doing, or things you want to do. I'm busy. I don't have time. There's always time. It's just, how do you manage that time? How do you figure out what you're going to do throughout the day to get the things done you need to get done? And I think one of the biggest things people neglect when it comes to that is themselves. When you don't have time management, when you're busy, you end up putting off the things that you probably need, important to you, like training, working out, maybe just a little quiet time to yourself, right? A little meditation, eating the right way, all kinds of things. Those are the first things that seem to suffer. So when you learn how to do time management, some people are a little bit more skilled at it than others, like Coach Les here. But it's important to at least get a handle on what your day is going to look like, then your week is going to look like, and then ultimately your month and whatever, so you know what's coming and you can plan for things that come up unexpectedly, because that's going to happen. And that's usually where people struggle, is like, well, I don't have time to do that. I've got all this going on. Well, if you can create time in your schedule, then you can fit things in that kind of come up that maybe you need to do, but you say you don't have the time to do. I know Coach Les has when he and I first met, one of the first things he told me to do is get an iPad and get this app called Good Notes. And it's also got a calendar and all that stuff. And he said that it's important to have that so you can always see what you're doing, where your time is, where it's going, and what you're doing with it. So I went out and bought an iPad, and I've been using it ever since. So one of the good pieces of advice that Coach Les gave me.
I love it. And, it's so funny. I did not know we were going to be talking about time management today on this show, right, Mr. Yarwood? I didn't know.
Nope. I sent it to you right before we do it.
And I had a conversation with two of my clients today about time management. And one of them had to cancel their appointment with me today for the second week in a row to reschedule, for the simple fact that it didn't work in their timeline. And I look and I go, wow, they paid for the appointment. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's their responsibility to get there. And I look and see in their world, in their life, and in the people around them, how is it impacting if they're not managing their time? What could it possibly alleviate, enhance, take away. And the keynote thing I think to pay attention to is each of us has 24 hours. See, I wanted to add another hour, call it 25.
You got 25 hours? Man, that's awesome.
And inside of 24 hours, the only thing you can do to gain more time is not sleep.
Yep.
Now, I'm one of the crazy people. Does all-nighters. And if you can't take naps, it's not a good idea to do an all-nighter.
We got to put that into your schedule too. Your nap.
Yep. So then the question then becomes, well, coach, how do I manage all this stuff? I got all this stuff I got to manage. And sure enough, when you start writing it down or putting it on a notepad, putting it live into a calendar, guess what starts happening?
Start finding time.
The ability to accomplish things. And when that happens, as we've said already, it reduces stress, increases productivity, improves work quality, creates balance, and builds discipline.
Yep. One of my favorite ones.
Why? What's so good about discipline?
Well, you have discipline, right? You are accountable to yourself to do the things you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do them. That's the biggest one. You know, the self-discipline is you're in charge of you ultimately. And if you're not keeping yourself accountable, if you're not doing the things that you need to be doing when you need to do them, that's when you start losing, quote unquote, losing your time, because you don't have the discipline to create the time that you need for everything, because you're too busy doing other things that you don't have the discipline for. So when you don't have discipline, I think to me that's the number one thing, is if you don't have the discipline, your time management, I can guarantee it sucks. That's just a given, because it takes discipline to manage your time.
And when you want to look and see, okay, so if I'm looking at core time management skills then, and building that discipline, what are some of the things that I could pay attention to? So here are 8 of them. Number 1, prioritization. Identify what is urgent versus important. Use tools like the Eisenhower matrix to sort tasks. You know what the Eisenhower matrix is?
No.
Well,
I just know that when you prioritize things, you put the things that need your immediate attention first, get them done, and then move on to the next thing. You're always going to have a list of things to do. That's a given, right? But what are the things that are the most important that need your direct attention right now? Or take the little tasks that don't take much time and get those out of the way so you have more time for the other things that you need to get done, and they're not looming in the background waiting for you to do it. Like, hey, I'm over here, because then you lose your focus.
So when I looked up and said, okay, what does it mean? What does self-discipline mean? What does all this mean? And what's urgent? What's not urgent? What's important or not important? This Eisenhower matrix is 4 quadrants.
Oh, you know what? I think I know that one.
Well, across the top, it's urgent and not urgent.
Yep.
And on the left side, it's important and not important. Basically, it says if the task is important and urgent, you're going to do it if you're a Dune man.
Do it now.
Yep. Then there is schedule. Not urgent, but important. Schedule tasks with unclear deadlines that contribute to long-term success.
Yep. It's the little building blocks of what you're doing that specifically aren't the task, right? But they're mini tasks within the big picture. Like, let's apply it to Taekwondo training. Each class is not urgent, but important because each class builds on your overall skill for Taekwondo, for your overall knowledge of what it is you need to know, ultimately leading you to your black belt. I, on the other hand, I believe they're all urgent, but that's just me. You must do every single class, or else.
Yeah. I'm in the or else department at the moment. So not important and urgent is where you delegate.
Yep.
I'm just looking at not important, not urgent. It says delete.
What's the point?
Distractions and unnecessary tasks. And my mind just like
Yep,
froze.
they have no value. Get rid of them.
Yeah. My mind just froze in the thought of this. Wow, I could just see what a difference that would make to so many people. Because do you know where the drama all lives?
That's where you are busy, right? The not urgent, not important. That's where you're busy. That's where all your time is.
Oh. And then there's some real time in there, like real time because you go to the police or you're going to the city council and you're fighting and you're doing the good fight and the good this and blah 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 blah.
Yep. There's a book called Extreme Ownership.
Ah, yes.
By Jocko Willink.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that last week too? We started to.
Yep. And he's got a section in there called Prioritize and Execute. So basically it's saying figure out what's most important that needs to get done and get it done. And then move on to the next thing. Cross it off your list. And don't go back because it's done. It's kind of, I don't know about you, but it's kind of fun to have a list and then cross things off like a visual, right? Like, check, that one's done. Check, that one's done.
I'm going to see if I can pull you up one of mine and show you. One of the things we're building right now is an inventory checklist. And, the wolves are around and the wolves are trying to step in. It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's that I think that's probably the first step. Once you've decided that you're going to do it and you're going to have the discipline to do it, that prioritization thing, and that prioritization is actually a constant. It's always happening, right? Because once you get done with something, something moves up the list. So you're not done, right? It's just the next thing. So that list is important because now it keeps you on task. It keeps you, okay, this is done. What's next? This is done. What's next? Because if you don't have a list like that, that's when you get down to the busy work. Because like, oh, I'm just going to do this. Oh, hey, look at that. Right? There's a squirrel.
Mm. And I'm notorious for squirrels.
Yeah, it's a conscious effort. Because it takes thought, it takes planning, it takes understanding of what it is that is important and urgent and what isn't. And then being able to distinguish of those what it is that needs to get done first.
And when you're trying to figure out what gets done first, get out of your own head and your own way. Go and ask somebody.
Yep. It's got to be objective, not subjective.
Setting SMART goals. What do you think about SMART goals, Mr. Yarwood?
Well, it's easy to say SMART goals, right? But to me, when you set a goal, right, the concept I get, but it doesn't have to be that drawn out, right? When you set a goal, it has to have purpose to it. It has to have a means to make it happen, and it's got to have an ending, right? What is your ultimate? What is it when you're done? When you've completed your goal, what is it, right? All the other stuff is we're just adding into it. You know what I mean? You don't have to go, well, is it this? Is it that? Just, is the goal, is it have some substance to it? Is it that, does it have value to it? And can you get it done in a timely manner? That's it. Like when I say, if somebody comes in and says their goal is black belt. Oh, okay. Great. So now what? When you walk into my school and the first thing you tell me is black belt, all right, we got some work to do. That's 4 years down the road. How are you going to get there? Do you have a roadmap? Do you have GPS? Do you have a plan? Which happens to be the next one, the plan.
And what if you get injured?
Yep. What if you get busy?
I got injured first.
Yep. I think of goals the same way as the time management piece. You got to set it out, figure out here's what I'm going to be at this point in time. Here's what I'm going to be at this point in time. What are the priorities to get all this stuff done?
And I think one of the interesting things is how many people do this in their heads.
Yep. And then they wonder why they forget stuff. I'll remember.
Yeah.
How many times have you been in one room and, hey, I'm going to go get this. You get into the room that you were going to and forgot.
Oh,
and then you go back to where you were to try and remember. Now tell me that you're going to be able to run your whole day that way, or your week, or your month, or your business, or anything.
It's going to be very tumultuous. Big word of the
You're going
day.
to be back and forth between that room a lot. What was I thinking about again?
So one of the what I'd like to do is give a few tips and techniques. And I'm just trying to think of how we're going to I think we're going to wait. I think we'll wait till next week to touch on tools to help with time management and time management in daily life, other than what we already talked about.
Right.
Because there's 3: avoiding procrastination, use the 5-minute rule, commit to starting something for just 5 minutes, break large tasks.
So when you say break large tasks into smaller pieces, that is goal setting. Is it not?
It is. It's most people would not catch it as goal setting, because they don't believe that they can mess with the integrity of what the item is.
Right.
What I'm curious to see is how many people in this room, listening to this on the replays. You can put it in the chats. How many people say no?
Well, we're Minnesota nice, so we don't say no.
What do we say instead?
We'll see.
Sure.
Sure.
Or I'll try.
I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
Saying no is a respect for your time by not overcommitting or allowing others to steal your focus.
It's hard for people, though.
And why do you think it's hard for people? Here we go. This would be a good one.
I think people think that saying no, it's almost emotional, because they don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. They don't want to make somebody feel bad. They don't want to feel like they're putting somebody out by saying no. But in reality, when you say yes to everything, you're the one being put out. You're not in control. You're handing over your control and your time to somebody else. When you say no, you have control of you and your time. More often than not, people are like, okay, and they move on. I think you think too much about what the other person is going to think if you say no.
Yep, 100%. Now, you said that they'll feel bad, put someone out. somebody that says no has to develop a care for their client. And there's always reflection and adjustment as we go through. Yes, no, what worked, what didn't work, what should be done differently.
What else can I do?
Napkin, towel, shower. I think sometimes it's one of those things where somebody needs to come along and dunk your head or slap you upside of it. I would say that time management is the number one failed piece of access that somebody
it steals from you.
Time waits for no man. It's a great famous saying. It just keeps ticking.
Yep.
So we have a choice in the moment. Are we going to tick with it? Are we going to try and resist it? Or are we going to try and get ahead of it? I vote for getting ahead of it.
Use it to your advantage.
I think it's wonderful. When we come back next week, we're going to talk about tools to help with time management, planners, timers, apps, habit trackers. In the meantime, there's a book called Atomic Habits.
Yep.
Habit stacking. One of my favorite things that you can do and it's by James Clear.
Identifying time stealers is a big thing, right? Because if you're like we talked about with other things, when you write stuff down, like we talked about with self-talk, right?
Yeah.
Write down before you even figure out your time management. Write down, take a week or whatever, and just write down everything that you do and how long it took you. Whether it be, you were checking emails, you were looking at Facebook, you were whatever it is. Write it down. How long did it take? Then you'll start to see where your time is starting to go, and then you can develop your plan from that. It's like, okay, I spend a half an hour every day from 3 to 3:30 on social media. I'm sure it's probably more, but just for an just for an example, right? Well, everybody spends time on social media. How do you adjust so you can spend less time on that and get other things done? So take 15 minutes off in that time and do something else. Or just don't do it at all, right? Use it for business purposes and move on. Call your friends instead of reading about them on the web.
People ask me why I do these. You can see one.
Well, why do you do them?
You can see one right here. So these help me manage my time on a bigger scale. This is an annual composite. Many of the European countries view time very differently than we do in America. They get 8 weeks of vacation, umpteen weeks of medical leave. And on the boards, when you place these visions, when you place this and you've been doing it for a long time, you can put years on there. You can put dates on there. You can put expected by. And you can create an awareness. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, it's time is valuable. And like I said, when you start to figure out where it's going, you're going to be amazed. You're like, oh, holy crap. I did this. I didn't even realize I was doing it. Right? Or people say, I don't have time to train. Oh yeah, well, what time you get up in the morning? 6. How about 5:30? Can you get up at 5:30 and work out for 20 minutes before you take a shower? Well, right. Here come the excuses. Oh, I like my sleep. That's fine. But then don't say you're busy because you can find time. You can find it. Right? I always tell my students, right? I said, if you think you're busy, let me see your schedule. I'll find you some time. I'll find you 15 minutes to train. That's not that hard. It's just a matter of the discipline, right? It goes back to the discipline. Do you have the discipline to do it? Are you willing to stick to it? Or are you going to veer off course again? I'll take care of that tomorrow.
Can I have what is that famous one? Can I have a hamburger today and pay
Wimpy?
Wimpy.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yep. So I am excited about next week looking at tools to help with time management in daily life. And I really, really I'm excited to see how many people are going to look at all we're doing through the microphone of integrity.
I think some people are delusional. You know what I mean? They think they're getting more done than they are. I'm fine. I can do it. All right. If I showed you another way that's better, would you try it? No.
Oh.
I don't have time to try something different.
And I don't think it's they may say they don't have time. What I think it is the brain is so comfortable not changing.
Yep. I like it the way it is.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you, Mr. Yarwood.
Yes, sir.
I see we've had 4 or 5 people watching us for the Twitter Spaces. And as you go through your week this week, close your eyes, and I want you to picture Yep. Go through the week, close your eyes, and look and see how much time did I waste today? What can I put in place for tomorrow?
Can you add 10 minutes?
Can you? I would even go for 5.
5 minutes.
Look and see. Just stop. Breathe. I mean, there's a whole book.
Stop being busy.
Yeah. And of course, I don't have it. I borrowed it out to somebody. But there's a whole premise of breathing, just taking a moment, close your eyes, breathe. Take a moment to let life in. And remember, we're in control of our time, how we spend it, the way we feel about it, the way we look at it, and what's possible. An amazing opportunity.
Yep. It's a challenge.
And I think, I just sit here and think of the number of times where I've just relaxed. And I'm not talking relaxing so you go, right? Because that's easy to do. It really is. It's one of the, in college, I tried yoga. And you know how many times I fell asleep?
Every time.
Every class.
Drooling on the mats.
Yeah, I wasn't drooling, but I was definitely fast asleep, lying backwards, lying with my head on, cushy pad.
Yep.
And everybody laughed, and it was my standard MO. I said, well, I worked until 2:00 last night. I'm a little tired. You put me on my back. You tell me to relax. You tell me to close my eyes.
Turn the lights down, play soft music.
So as we look at time management, that's another thing to be responsible for. Are you giving yourself space?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Woo!
Yep. You don't have to fill every single second with something.
No. And Eastern philosophy, they spend a lot of time in meditation. Chill and see what happens. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
All right.
Appreciate you, Mr. Yarwood. Thanks for letting us follow this on Yma Mat Chat. End of season session 43.
See you on the